Welcome back to the third of our introductory sessions, our introductory videos for this course, Contemporary Social Issues. I want to give you a brief introduction to the topics in this course, Contemporary Social Issues. The title suggests that there's a kind of set of issues which the course may be made up of. And that's what I want to clarify in this presentation, starting, of course, with a task for you guys. In our last session, our last video, we defined contemporary social issues as being, well, something like present societal problems, or maybe present societal topics which people are talking about. Because of the nature of this course, it is very international, the focus will be on social problems, social topics, which are international and not just national. I'm not going to be staying within the boundaries of Germany in the topics of this course. So together with your partner, think about what kinds of topics may be considered global contemporary social issues. Discuss with your partner now. Press pause. What did you come up with? Each person has a different list. There's potential for very, very long lists here. The more you scratch your head, the more you think, the more you come up with. Each list is going to be different. Maybe it's nice to compare with some official lists which are out there. And I had a book in my hands a few months ago by George and Page. They actually have a book published with the title Global Social Problems. The book is from 2004. It's not exactly up to date. Some of the newer concerns we have may not have been a concern back 16 years ago. Nonetheless, these are the following chapters. Have a look at this. It's a really interesting list. They start off with social welfare, meaning something like social policy or welfare work. Even social work is included in that heading. Good. The second point, the environment, of course. That's a thought very much in our minds right now, 15 years after that book was published. We've then got poverty, we've got crime, and we've got drugs. We've got AIDS, we've got family violence, we've got racism. Finally, we have migration and asylum. So rather gloomy list, isn't it? These gloomy, serious things. This is clearly a problem in that rather strict sense. This is not so much issues as real problems, things which people are globally worried about. But in a really interesting list, and interestingly, this list overlaps quite a lot with the topics I've chosen for this course. Yeah, I'm guessing when you look at this list, you'll notice some things are missing. Hey, I had some really, really good ones that aren't there. And discuss once again, natter with your partner, press pause, what's missing in this list? What really should we add today to that 2004 list? Press pause. What did you come up with? Once again, we can add so many things, can't we? We could have added, I immediately thought we could have added, what about gender and women's rights? There's a whole bunch of gender or women's questions which we haven't addressed in that list there. It was kind of slightly alluded to. They talked about family violence. If you have a very, very broad sense of violence in terms of people's rights being restricted, then maybe we included it. But it's nice to be explicit and include that as a separate issue. Health and disease, they gave the example of one disease, HIV and AIDS, of course, that's one very important disease globally. But what about other diseases, other health problems? Clearly, that could be part of our book. Disability, again, disability not quite the same as health. Disability is a global thing, and we fight it globally as a global community. So that for me is definitely having potential as a global issue. As is the next point, we tend to have looked, in the past, we've looked at mental health as being a very private thing, but now we're seeing it's actually part of being a human being in our societies. So, for example, depression or dementia, for me, utterly global social issues. War and conflict is obviously definitely worthy of being included in that list. What about the rise of nationalism? What about the rise of political populism? Politics really have changed over the last decades. I'm speaking in a very, very strange spring. We've got Donald Trump in the States. We've got Boris Johnson with the Brexit movement in Britain. These are strange, uncertain times. Our political ideas from the last millennium really seem to have left us. Global citizenship, global interdependence, global justice. I think these belong in any consideration of global social issues. And finally, globalization itself, we could add to our list, couldn't we? That itself is a topic which includes so many of these other topics we've been considering. And it goes without saying, ... the list goes on. Maybe it's nice if I tell you now, spoilers coming up, which topics we'll be talking about over the coming weeks. Thinking about global social issues, well, I've already mentioned this, it takes us to two particular subject areas, two particular disciplines. I've already mentioned sociology is going to be one of those. I've been waving my sociology textbook in front of you. Also, please note, it overlaps a little bit with social policy, and we can even add other disciplines like social work here. Most of the lessons in this particular course do deal with sociological ideas, sociological views, sociological perspectives on social issues. Our topics are going to be, here they are, here's the list, it's more or less complete. I'll be kicking us off with poverty and inequality, that will be next week's topic. We're going to have disability, we're going to have sexuality, we're going to have gender, we're going to have deviance, crime and punishment, we're going to have economics, we're going to have race and ethnicity, and we're going to have social welfare. Please note, I think one topic's missing. I'm still deciding the last of the topics for this course. Oh, excuse me, I've missed off work as well. So there you are, I think that's 9 of the 10 topics we're going to have in total. That's what you can expect in our learning together week after week. Lovely disciplinary perspectives. As I've already said, we're going to be thinking sociologically. The word is not in the course module title, but it's very much in the feeling of our lessons together. We're going to be broadly sociological. Please note, I'm not actually a sociologist. I'm not trained as a sociologist. I actually come from a different discipline. So in a sense, I'm a foreigner in this territory myself. When we look at the topics, most of them we're going to look at sociologically. With economics, my original plan was to look at economics from a sociological perspective. There are books on economic sociology, but then I became so excited with all these economic theories, I thought I'd just give you a summary of the discipline in itself. So that subject is a little bit separate from the rest of the course. Other disciplinary perspectives, I'm really interested in how these issues in our society and aspects of our social life, how they were dealt with differently then and now. So I'm fascinated in comparing the history of how a topic was looked at with how it's looked at today. So there'll be quite a lot of history, quite a lot of historical perspectives in these lessons. Finally, I should note, I'm a social worker by training. I've got a German social work degree, Soziale Arbeit. This is going to influence me in my teaching, influences my stance, meine Haltung, my attitudes towards these topics, my values, what I find good, what I find bad, how I orientate myself in all of these issues. It even influences my politics, of course, as well. And you might have a feeling for that from week to week as well. I think that's nice, makes it fun. Once again, there's a whole bunch of further reading. I'm going to bring this particular presentation to a close. Hope you've enjoyed it.